conversation with Richard Piper from Meticulous Media. Richard, how's it going?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very well indeed. Happy to be here.
Good, good stuff.
Good to be involved in our first In Conversation.
Definitely.
So very excited.
Absolutely, and many more to come. But we're going to start today. Well, do you want to start by telling us a little bit about what you do?
Okay, so Meticulous Media is a provider of specialist content, generally to B2B companies. So we write feature articles, press releases, web content, anything you can imagine. If you need it written, we can help you out.
Yeah.
And we really try and dig deep into the story behind a business and to try and incorporate that into the messaging that we weave into the content that we create, if you like.
Absolutely. Okay, and that leads us quite nicely to our discussion today, doesn't it? You mentioned it there, this idea of storytelling and the importance of storytelling for brands, but also I guess for, when we say brands, we often think of kind of larger businesses maybe, but even for smaller businesses, when you're starting out, that we all have a story, right, of why we started our business, what we hope to achieve, both for ourselves and our audience. And that really is a powerful tool, right?
Absolutely.
For customers.
Yeah, I mean, what's become clear to me over many years as a journalist, and then having set up this company in order to create content, is that everyone that you speak to in business, anyone who started a business or is passionate about what they do, they have a story. So they've started with a big idea, if you like.
Yeah.
But the issue that we come across quite a lot is that they don't always have a clear idea as to how to articulate that story and how to use it to their advantage. You see it a lot in the food and drink industry, for example. People are interested in provenance. They're getting more and more interested in where their food has come from.
Yeah.
And likewise, that translates onto the business sort of stage, if you like. People want to know the story behind a company and to really understand what drives a person to have set up that company.
Yeah.
What gets them out of bed in the morning, and what makes them strive to be the best at what they do. Yeah,
definitely. And do you think it's something that, I guess, with a lot more people being aware of, like you said, with food, like where food comes from, kind of bigger issues, have you found that over the years it's this idea of story and wanting to know the background of our brands and the people we buy for has become more important?
It definitely has, and I think if you look back maybe even 5 years ago, if you look at a big company's website or any company's website, there tends to be an element of almost it being like a shop. Here is a list of our products, these are the prices, and you can click on one and buy it. And that's no longer good enough. It's, in a way, that landscape has changed. There's very high level of competition in lots of industries.
Yeah.
It's no longer good enough really just to have a shop front, unless you're in a business that, if you're selling sweets or something like that, for example. But even then, people want to know the story behind that company maybe.
Yeah.
And what we try and encourage people to do, we work with a number of larger clients who have that sort of shop front mentality on their websites, and try and turn it more into thought leadership journey through their website.
Yeah.
Try and encourage people to visit their websites to garner information, to get their opinions on trends, and to really walk them through what we, for want of a better expression, call the sales funnel, if you like. So it leads people to purchasing decisions at the end.
Yeah.
But it's not kind of, this is what we do, buy it now.
Yeah.
This is what we do, this is why we do it, these are the challenges we've identified. And guess what? Here's how our products or our services can help you to overcome these challenges.
Yeah.
And then it leads naturally to a conversation about paid services or products or whatever that may be at the end of it.
Yeah.
But it's all about storytelling, and it starts with a website, with a conversation, with a presentation, whatever it is, whatever medium you choose. And for us, 9 times out of 10, that's going to involve content, and that's where we like to help our clients.
Yeah, definitely. I guess creating that connection, isn't it? I think in a world of social media where everything's digital, we have less and less interaction with people, maybe one-to-one, or in a personal, direct setting, real world setting, shall we say.
Yeah.
And so you've got to bring out that connection and the background in the content, like I said, on the website, so that you feel, well, why would I buy from them? Whereas maybe 10, 20, 30 years ago, you'd go into a shop and see them in person, and you'd go, I like that person, therefore I'm more likely to buy from the person next door who was rude and grumpy with me.
Exactly, but it comes down to, it's the age-old saying, people buy people. And you know, a CEO or an MD of a company may not have the time then to dedicate to every single potential customer, but you can get that message across. And you know, the guy who set up, or the lady who set up the firm, they have a story, and it's important to tell that, or to have that sort of woven into your messaging, if you like. And that really comes across in the content that you deliver. Yeah, definitely.
And so how do people find their story? Like, I guess we're talking about expressing their story, and that's something you do very much, help them get it out.
Yeah.
Do you find that people often know or maybe appreciate their story? And if they don't, how do they get it out?
I find that most people are very passionate about what they do, that I speak with, because it tends to be the people who have created these companies, or the people who are heavily invested in these companies, who will deal with in order to create these articles or the web stories, the content, whatever it may be. I think a lot of the time they don't always have an idea about how to articulate that message, and for me what it comes down to is having a conversation with them, and really, you know, traveling to their offices or having a meeting with them, and having some questions, having a conversation like we are now. I'll discover things about my own company talking to you now that I hadn't thought about yesterday, for example, just by having a chat. I mean, I've had a chat with numerous marketing directors who said, wow, it's been really valuable just to sit down and bounce a few questions, because it does open up avenues that perhaps they haven't thought of before, because no one's asked them the question before. But because I know that I'm trying to get that story out, I can develop a line of questioning that's designed to extract that information. And unless someone's actually asked those questions before, maybe that's just lying dormant, that information. Especially if they don't have that sort of content on their website already. So it can really add value just to have that conversation in the first instance. And then to get that down into the content and to deliver it, then it becomes a lot easier. In many ways, it's down to the quality of the brief. Like creating any article, for example, it's only going to be as good as the information that you start with. Yeah, definitely. And do you find, because I guess it's very easy, isn't it, in business, and like you said, you taking that time to sit down with them and just ask them those questions will get them to see stuff that they know, but they don't know that they know, maybe. Absolutely. Because we always get caught up in the day-to-day doing. But so do you find that smaller, like the newer the business, the easier, more connected they are to their story? Like they've done it for less time, but they might be it's more immediate and more present, versus a larger company, or maybe a company that's been going for longer, you could say, has maybe lost sight of it. It's still there, but it's maybe not as prevalent. Is there, or is it all down to the individual? I absolutely agree. If you were to sort of analyse a trend, the newer the business, the brighter the spark, if you like, of that passion there. You know what you've set out to achieve. I knew when I had set up this company 2.5 years ago what I wanted to achieve, and I can sit and talk to you about our, the brand values, if you like, and what we're looking to do going forward. And you'll find a lot of the new startup businesses, they still have all of that passion there, and it's quite easy to extract the information you need. A company that's perhaps been in business for 10 years, 15, 20 years, whatever it may be, may have become complacent and maybe lost sight of what it was they were trying to achieve when they started out, and it may be that original goal has changed direction. But if it's changed direction, why did it change direction, and how has it developed, and what have been the benefits, and there are so many questions you can ask along the way. And I think it can be easy to rest on your laurels, especially if you're making lots of money or whatever it may be. I guess it's an advantage at any stage, isn't it? Like you said, so if you're a startup, you may not have reputation or much experience, but you've got a really powerful story, and it's maybe making the most of that while it's still fresh in your mind. And then you have a bigger company and you've ended up going in one direction. It's a nice, like you said, a nice opportunity to maybe go back to, well, why am I doing that, and re-spark that. So relevant absolutely. To anyone at any stage, really, for different reasons. It really is. And I think it can really be of benefit and add a lot of value to reignite that spark, if you like, and to reevaluate why you do what you do. And the larger the company, the more people there are to get that message through to, and to really get them to buy into why it is you're doing what you're doing. And content can do that as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be external content. It could be internal training documents and things like that.
Yeah.
Or an internal memo, a letter from the CEO, something to inspire the staff again. So, we've had a recent chat, and this is what we've uncovered about ourselves.
Yeah.
We've done some soul searching maybe, and we
Yeah.
really want you to buy into this. And,
Yeah.
it can really add value
Yeah.
to take a good look at what it is you're doing and why it is you're doing it.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so if people are haven't maybe considered their story, like we're telling you now, you have a story, maybe they're just not connected to it. What would be maybe the take homes that people can go if they're starting to consider, what is my story? How can they use it?
I think you can go back to the very beginning. As a business owner, for example, you would have had a big idea. There would have been something that happened, a series of events that unfolded, and you thought, there's a gap in the market there, I'm really excited. And when you incorporate a company, it's one of the most exciting days of your life. And you see that number, and there will be so many goals and ambitions and ideas around that. And it's really important to reconnect with that, I think, and to just, go along the line and see how your business has developed for however long it's been in existence. And really understand what it is that you're trying to achieve, and then try and articulate that via your outward windows to the world, your websites, your social media posts. For want of a better expression, every company will have an ethos, and it's really important to get that out there and to put a level of passion behind that as well.
Yeah, definitely. So just start speaking it. Well, start exploring it in your head, and then start speaking it to whoever. Those people closest to you, and then to the point where it can become more and more refined and written and delivered, and
when it comes to content, I'd say don't get bogged down in numbers and things like that. Just really think about the emotional side of things, if you like. And really go back to that, because it's those sort of that passionate messaging that will enable you to build a level of excitement in potential customers and even existing customers as well. So wow, these guys really, really have a passion for what they do. I want to work with them. And you can get that across. I can get that across to you in a conversation, hopefully. But it's also important to have it sat there on your website and to drive people to it. And that's where we can hopefully help.
Okay, brilliant. So that's the take-home message. Reconnect with your passion.
Absolutely.
Get excited by whatever excites you. And then learn to express it, or kind of
use it to your advantage. Absolutely,
definitely. Richard, that's been awesome chatting about the importance of story in your brand and in your copy and your content. So if people want to know more info, want you to come and ask those big questions that get them thinking, how can they get in touch?
They can get in touch with me via my website, which is www.meticulousmedia.co.uk, or you can email me directly at richard@meticulousmedia.co.uk.
There we go, guys. Right, hope you enjoyed that. Hope it was useful. We'll see you later.
Thanks very much.